Hello children, how are you all? I hope you are fine and safe. I am Dakshayani, handling biology from Bharathidhasanar Matric Higher Secondary School, Arakkonam. Children, today we are going to see 12th standard Zoology, 2nd chapter. What is the name of the chapter, children? Human reproduction. Yes, and so far we have discussed about the male reproductive system, female reproductive system and the process of how the gametes are formed and then fertilization. And today in this session we are going to discuss a topic, maintenance of the pregnancy, right, and embryonic development, how the pregnancy takes place and how the embryo develops from embryo to complete individual. So we are going to see in this session. Let us go into the topic. So in the previous class we discussed about the blastocyst. What is a blastocyst, children? A blastocyst is a group of cells, and it contains a thin layer of flattened cells on one side, and on the other side there is a group of 20 to 30 cells, 20 to 30 cells like this, right. So this is a blastocyst, this one. At this stage only it gets implanted into the endometrium of the uterus, and now we are going to see what happens to that blastocyst. Here what I told this, children, this is the inner cell mass, this is a inner cell mass, and this is a trophoblast, this is a trophoblast, and this inner cell mass get divided into two cells. One is a epiblast and another one is a hypoblast. What is this cell? It is a epiblast. Epiblast give rise to the ectoderm, and this cells inner to the epiblast we call these cells as hypoblast. Hypoblast. Hypoblast gives rise to the endodermis, and in between the endodermis and the ectodermis what is formed? Mesoderm is formed. So this is the structure to explain what happens to the blastula, and now we are going to see how the blastula is converted into the gastrula. And now gastrulation, it is an important 2-mark question, children. The process of conversion of blastocyst into the gastrula, we call it as gastrulation. When we call it as a gastrula, and we told that it will be differentiated into the epiblast will become ectoderm and the hypoblast will become the endoderm, and in between them mesoderm is formed. So the differentiation of the germ layers we call it as gastrula. So the conversion of blastocyst into gastrula we call it as gastrulation. Now look at this picture, children. What can you see? Now this is the picture to show what happens after implantation. So this is a fetus, it is an embryo, and what are the layers surrounding it, and we are going to see one by one. The first layer which surrounds the fetus we call it as amnion. Just underline your book. In Tamil we say it as panikudam, right. When this amnion breaks, it is the sign of delivery. So a fetus is surrounded by the double walled membrane called as amnion, and the another one layer is the allantois. Allantois is nothing but the outpocketing of the tissue, it is present here. Allantois, from which the umbilical cord arises, and the third important point is the yolk sac. Third important part is a yolk sac from which the blood vessels are formed, and the fourth important point is a chorion. Chorion is the outermost layer which consists of the blood vessel. So now let us study one by one in detail. So the first layer we call it as amnion. Just Look at this children, this one, it is a amnion, double walled, right. So, what is the function of amnion? Amnion consists of amniotic fluid. Consists of amniotic fluid. And the main function of the amniotic fluid is that it provides buoyancy. What do you mean by buoyancy? You might have studied in physics. What do you mean by buoyance? Buoyance means midakkum tanmai, we say in Tamil, right. The amnion helps the fetus to move freely inside the uterus. So, it provides buoyancy and it is transcluent. What about transcluent? Not clear. Mangala irukkiradhu we say it as transcluent layer and it protects the child from injury. You see children, when the fetus is developing inside the mother's uterus, if the mother is subjected to any other shocks, right, that shock will not reach the child. That is due to this amnion. So, we can call it also as a buffer zone. Buffer zone which helps in prevention. It avoids the mechanical shock to reach the child, and apart from this, this amnion helps in respiration. Helps in respiration and it also helps in the supply of nutrient. Supply of nutrients. Right children? So, we discussed about the function of amnion and now we are going to study about the yolk sac. And the next, the small structure here, this is the yolk sac. What is the second thing? Yolk sac. Yolk sac, it is the basis of blood vessel from which the blood vessel arises. Blood vessel arises. And the third layer is a allantois. Allantois. Here you just look at this children. This is the allantois. This is the allantois. Allantois is a small outpacketing of the tissues and they are responsible for forming the umbilical cord. Umbilical cord. What is umbilical cord children? The cord which connects the placenta and the fetus. Placenta and the fetus, we call it as a umbilical cord, right. And the fourth layer is a chorion. Fourth layer is a chorion. The fourth layer is a chorion which surrounds the entire fetus. And now we are going to study about the structure called chorionic villi. We studied children that inner cell mass will differentiate into the embryo and the trophoblast. The trophoblast forms finger-like projections called as chorionic villi. Chorionic villi, right. So, this is the structure called chorionic villi. This chorionic villi, it contains a fetus blood and it is surrounded by the mother's blood. So, chorionic villi consists of fetal blood. So far we discussed about the extra embryonic layers, that is a amnion, yolk sac, allantois and chorion. And now we are going to see the placenta. Yes, look at this children. This disc shaped structure. This disc shaped structure we call it as placenta. So placenta is an temporary endocrine organ. Placenta is an temporary endocrine organ. What is mean by endocrine, children? If an organ secretes a hormone, we call it as a endocrine. Likewise, this placenta secretes some of the hormones at the time of pregnancy. So, we call this as a temporary endocrine gland, and the placenta is disc shaped and it is connected to the fetus by means of the structure called as umbilical cord. By means of structure called umbilical cord. This placenta is responsible for providing the nutrition to the developing fetus. The placenta is nothing, the embryonic tissue, that is the endodermal tissue of the mother. So, it is responsible for all the supply. From here only the chorionic blood vessel arises, connects the placenta, and all the nutrients from the mother are transferred to the fetus. So, this is the structure of placenta. And now we are going to see what happens to the germ layers, right? I told you ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. So, what is the use of the ectoderm? What are, it's an important 3-mark question, children. What is the fate of germ layers? Right? The germ layers, ectoderm, get converted into ANS, CNS. What is CNS? Central nervous system, and the skin, mammary glands, everything are formed from the ectoderm. And mesoderm. Mesoderm is responsible for the connective tissues. What is the connective tissue? Formation of bone, formation of muscles, blood and urinogenital system, everything is the derivative of the mesoderm. And endoderm gives rise to gastrointestinal tract, respiratory tract, thyroid and parathyroid. And now we are going to see the derivatives. Here the outermost layer, that is a ectoderm, gives rise to brain tissues, that is CNS and the PNS. And the mesoderm gives rise to the blood vessels, the bone tissue, the muscle tissues, etc. And the endodermal cells form the digestive tract and the respiratory tract. And here what happens, children? All the germ layers, germ cells differentiate into tissues, and tissues later develops into organs, and organ together form the organ systems. Organ system. Okay. And now we are going to see the gestation period. What is a gestation period, children? The common term used is pregnancy. The common term we use is pregnancy, and the scientific term used to denote pregnancy is a gestation period. Gestation period. And from this the one more question may ask, how many days are there in the gestation period? 280 days. 280 days. And how many months? In days 280. And how many weeks is that? 40 weeks. 40 weeks forms the gestation period. And according to the conveniency, the gestation period is divided into 3 trimesters, right? They are dividing into 3 consecutive months. That is, the first 3 months, first trimester, and 4 to 6, second trimester, and 7, 8, 9 as a third trimester. So, we are going to see what happens every 3 months, right? And this is the image of the fetus to show what development takes place. First in the 6 weeks. 6 weeks in the sense, that is in the 1.5 months, right? In the first 3 months, the first organ formed is a heart. Heart is the first organ, and it's an important one more question, children. Fetal heart rate is, our normal heartbeat is 72 to 80, but the fetal heart rate is about 120 beats per minute, right? and here the heart is the first organ to be formed, and later the limbs are formed. The limbs just arise as the buds. And by the end of 2 months, what happens? The limbs, the digits, everything are formed, and the urinogenital tract, everything is formed by the end of first trimester. And at the 4th month, at the beginning of the second trimester, the eyelashes, eyelids, eye blinks, the digits in the fingers, and the movement takes place at the time of, and the development of the skin and development of the hair throughout the body takes place in the second trimester. So, just look at this image, children, at the 15th week, right? 15th week in the sense by nearly 3rd month, right? 3rd, we can see after the first trimester, the development is like this, and after in the second trimester, hairs, everything, eyelashes and eye blinks, everything started to grow, and body is fully covered by the skin, and after the completion of the second trimester, the development, only weight gaining process and the development of in physical size takes place at the time of 3rd trimester. By the end of the 3rd trimester, the child is fully developed and ready to born at any time. So, in the first trimester, the development of the organs, that is a heart, liver, and the sex organs, everything forms to develop, and in the second trimester, eyelashes, skins, digit development takes place in the second trimester, and by the 3rd, that is in the from 7 to 9 months, only the growth in the physical size takes place. And now let us discuss some of the questions related to this topic. So, the fetal membrane that forms the basis of umbilical cord is very good, allantois. What is the period of pregnancy? 280 days. And during embryonic development, endoskeleton and muscles, connective tissues, from where it is developed, children? Mesoderm. And the nervous system is formed from the ectoderm. The mammalian placenta originates from allantois and chorion, right? And some of the 2 more questions asked here. What are the derivatives of germ layers? And write a short notes on the membranes of embryo, right? You have to write what are the derivatives, in the sense you have to write about the ectodermal, endodermal, and the mesodermal derivatives, and membranes, in the sense you have to write about the extra embryonic layer, that is about the chorion, amnion, allantois, and yolk sac. Okay, children, with this session comes to an end. So far we discussed about the maintenance of pregnancy and fetal development. Go through the topic well, and along with this we have attached the study material, assessment and question bank for this lesson. Go through the topic well and make sure how far you understood the topic. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.